The last session, we have discussed about the production of phenol by chlorobenzene route, benzene sulfonate process, and oxidation of benzene. In the chlorobenzene route, this reaction takes place in three steps. That is, one is chlorination, where benzene is chlorinated at at about 85 degrees centigrade temperature in presence of iron or ferric chloride catalyst. It gives you monochlorobenzene. The second step, the monochlorobenzene is reacted with sodium hydroxide, aqueous sodium hydroxide, which produces sodium benzoate. This sodium benzoate is then hydrolyzed in the third step with in presence of hydrochloric acid solution, which gives you phenol and sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is actually separated and the phenol is concentrated by distillation. The process in this is dibenzene and catalyst, that is iron turnings or anhydrous ferric chloride, are charged continuously to the chlorinator. Benzene is fractionated in the top and returns as recycle, while monochlorobenzene is withdrawn near the bottom of the column. Chlorobenzene and caustic, about 10%, that is sodium hydroxide solution of 10%, are mixed along with diphenyl oxide to repress the formation of more diphenyl oxide, and the mixture is pumped through a preheater into a multi-tube reactor where castization occurs at a temperature of 425 degrees centigrade and 350 atmospheric pressure. Residence time is around 15 minutes. Heat is removed from the reactor efflux by change in feed preheater. The cooled hydrolyte is acidified in a neutralizer to liberate phenol and sodium chloride, which is separated by distillation. Phenol is stripped of diphenyl oxide and other minor impurities in the vacuum distillation unit. A portion of the diphenyl oxide is recycled to castization tower, with remainder is redistilled under vacuum for commercial marketing. This is the process which we have studied in the previous session. The another process we have gone through is benzene sulfonate process for phenol production. Here the reaction takes place in four steps, that is sulfonation, neutralization, fusion, and acidification. Here, benzene vapors are made to react with liquid sulfuric acid in a countercurrent reactor to form benzene sulfonic acid. The sulfonator is designed so that only a few percent of free sulfuric acid remains before liquid is discharged to the neutralizer. In the neutralization step, by adding rapidly the reactor liquor to a solution of sodium sulfite, sulfur dioxide is released and pot residue contains sodium benzene sulfonate in solution and precipitated sodium sulfate. This mixture is filtered at a boiling point and with a clear solution moving to batch fusion tank. A cast iron fusion pot containing molten castic is kept at 300 degrees Celsius by direct or gas fired or oil fired. The sulfonate is slowly added at the bottom of the pot and the reaction is allowed to continue for 5 to 6 hours. The molten melt is then diluted with water, acidified with sulfur dioxide from the neutralizer, and final pH is adjusted by adding dilute sulfuric acid. The crude phenol floats as an aqueous solution containing sodium sulfate, sodium sulfite, and a small percentage of phenol. The crude phenol is then refined in vacuum distillation column. The aqueous layer is steam distilled to recover more phenol. Right. This is the method by which we actually studied in the last session. The another process was the phenol production by direct oxidation of benzene. Here benzene is hydrogenated to cyclohexane, which is then oxidized with air, yielding a mixture of cyclohexanol and cyclohexanol and unreacted cyclohexane. The unreacted cyclohexane is separated and recycled. The oxygenated fraction is then dehydrogenated to phenol over nickel or platinum catalyst. We also seen the production of applications of phenol. Phenol is used in the production of phenol formaldehyde, thermosetting resin, in herbicides, in the manufacture of insecticides, pharmaceuticals, in the manufacture of dyestuffs, and in petroleum refining as a solvent. Today in this session, we are going to discuss about the manufacture of styrene. The chemical reactions are alkylation of benzene. Alkylation of benzene is done with ethylene in presence of a catalyst aluminum trichloride or ethylene chloride, which gives you alkylated benzene. This ethyl benzene is then dehydrogenated to styrene in presence of stannous oxide or ferric oxide at a temperature of 1500 degree Fahrenheit. The flow diagram for this is this one. Here alkylation is done under very dry condition with high purity feedstock to avoid activity loss of the catalyst. All benzene feed must be dried by azeotropic distillation. Ethyl benzene or ethyl chloride, which serves as a source of hydrogen and chlorine free radical for catalyst promotion, is added to ethylene, which is fed continuously along with benzene to the alkylation tower operating at 95 degrees Celsius and 1 atmospheric pressure. Granular aluminum trichloride catalyst is fed continuously at the top of the reactor. The reactant mole ratio is 0.6 ethylene is to 1 benzene and no ethylene is recycled. Alkylation tower is cooled by cooling water to control the exothermic heat of reaction. The alkylated products are pumped to a cooler at 40 degrees Celsius where aluminum trichloride complex is separated and split stream is fed to the alkylator. The bleed off fraction is pumped to a high temperature, that is around 200 degrees Celsius, dealkylator to break down the polyethylbenzene to benzene and ethylbenzene, which are recovered and recycled back to the process. The tar residue plus aluminum trichloride is water extracted to recover 80 to 85% of aluminum trichloride, which is used as catalyst. The crude ethyl benzene from the cooler is neutralized with 50% sodium hydroxide solution stripped to remove polyethyl benzene, and the overhead is sent to benzene column, which separates wet benzene from ethyl benzene. A final distillation is followed by 20% castic wash, then drying by percolation in a flake castic bed, which produces 99% ethyl benzene for dehydrogenation in yields average, averaging 95%. The polyalkyl benzene must be removed from bottom in the atmospheric strip to avoid the formation of polyfunctional high reactive products during the dehydrogenation step. Dehydrogenation of ethyl benzene is the second step, which produces styrene. Steam is injected with the hydrocarbon in a mole ratio of 15 is to 1 water and ethyl benzene. The mixed feed passes through the preheater to achieve in an input temperature of 500 degrees centigrade to the reactor, which operates at 800 degrees Celsius. The dehydrogenation catalyst is promoted zinc, chromium, iron, or magnesium oxide on activated carbon or alumina or bauxite. Here, the conversion of ethyl benzene is to styrene is 35 to 40% with an average yield of 91%. So the ethyl benzene, after dehydrogenation, it produces styrene. Then styrene is actually separated in the second column operating at 35 mm mercury pressure and 90 degrees centigrade, which separate styrene from unreacted ethyl benzene. The styrene is then stabilized at this point with paratetracetyrol to is then vacuum distilled again to remove the traces of tar and sulfur. The final overhead is styrene, that is about 99.8%, is then refrigerated at 10 degrees Celsius or less and then either stored in insulated tanks or used immediately for polymerization. So this is the process which is going or on in the production of styrene from benzene. Then the applications of styrene. Styrene is mainly used for making plastic toys and model kits. Moreover, housing for machines as well as refrigerator doors and air conditioner cases are made of styrene. In the production of SBR, that is synthetic rubber, styrene butadiene rubber, in the solidified form and foamed for insulation is of greater importance. So this is about ethyl benzene, styrene, which is made from ethyl benzene. Benzene is made by alkylation of benzene with ethylene. Right. Then next we'll discuss about polymer technology. We'll see some of the definitions and nomenclature. First one is polymer. Polymers are a large chain molecules having a high molecular weight in the range of 10 to the power 3 to 10 to the power 7. These are made up of a single unit or a molecule in is repeated several times within the chain structure, that is called polymer. Then monomer. A monomer is a single unit or a molecule which is repeated in the polymer chain. It is the basic unit which makes the polymer. Thermosetting polymer. The thermosetting polymer are which, when heated, decompose and hence cannot be reshaped. Such polymers have a complex 3D network, that is cross-linked or branch-linked, and are called thermosetting polymers. They are generally insoluble solvent and have good heat resistance quality. Thermosetting polymers include phenol formaldehyde, urea formaldehyde, silicon, and allyls. Thermoplastic polymers. The thermopolymers in this category are composed of monomers which are linear or have moderate branching. They can be melted repeatedly and casted into various shapes and structures. They are soluble in solvent but do not have appreciable thermal resistance property. Vinyls, cellulose derivatives, polythene, and polypropylene fall into this category of thermosetting or thermoplastic polymers. Then we'll see the classification of polymers. Polymers are classified generally on the basis of number one, physical and chemical structure. Number two, preparation by preparation method. Number three, by physical properties. And fourth one, by application. So polymers are classified generally on the basis of physical and chemical structure, preparation method, or by physical properties and by application. We'll discuss this one by one. Classification according to physical and chemical structures. On the basis of functionality or degree of polymerization, the polymers are actually classified. The functionality of a monomer or its degree of polymerization determines the final polymer that will be formed due to the combination of monomers. The number of relative bonds or groups that are available for coupling with will determine whether the monomer will be monofunctional, bifunctional, trifunctional, or polyfunctional. Monofunctional or unifunctional monomers. When a single reacting group is present in the monomer molecule, then it is termed as monofunctional or unifunctional. However, a monofunctional group cannot lead to propagation of a polymer chain. For example, in carboxylic acid, that is acetic acid, the COOH group is a monofunctional group, so we cannot produce a polymer out of these. Right. This is the structure of the monofunction. Then bifunctional monomers. Here, when two reactive groups are present in the monomer molecule, then it is termed as bifunctional. More often than not, polymerization reaction with bifunctional group occurs when a double bond splits to couple with another double bonded monomer. If a double bond molecule is present, then the polymer would be like this. R plus R are the two monomers which actually produces a polymer R dash. A double bond is there in the R dash R double bond R. It is a bifunctional monomer. On polymerization, it produces single bonded polymer. Then trifunctional. When a monomer contains three groups that are reactive, when it is termed as trifunctional. It is important to note that a trifunctional polymer may be a mixture of monofunctional and bifunctional monomer structure. Let us consider the reaction of phenol and formaldehyde to form trimethyl phenol. So here is the structure. Phenol plus formaldehyde. Phenol is having three active groups. You can add the another monomer at 0.1, 0.2 and 0.3. So it is a trifunctional monomer, and formaldehyde is a bifunctional monomer. This produces a product called phenol formaldehyde, which is known as trimethyl phenol. We'll see some of the MCQs in this session. Number 1, in the production of styrene, alkylation of benzene is done with A. Acetylene, B. Ethylene, C. Propylene, butylene. Right answer is answer B. Ethylene. Second question, catalyst is used in the production of ethyl benzene is dash. The options are aluminium sulfate, aluminium chloride, sodium aluminate, the aluminium bromide. The right answer is option B, that is aluminium chloride. Third one, undue polymerization of styrene can be prevented by dash. Options are heating, B. refrigeration, C. cooling at room temperature, and D. none of these. Right answer is answer B, by refrigeration to about 10 degrees Celsius. Fourth question, ethyl benzene is dried by percolation on a dash bed. Option A, calcium chloride. Option B, caustic, that is sodium hydroxide. Option C, carbon, and option D, none of these. The right answer is option B. Fifth one, alkylation of benzene is a dash reaction. Options are exothermic, B. endothermic, C. autothermic, and D. none of these. Right answer is answer A, that is exothermic. Thank you.